I just want to say how much I appreciate your support with what I've been doing this past 6 months. And, I think most people probably know by now that I'm running to be the next mayor of London. The elections are 4 weeks from today.
Yeah.
Big article came out yesterday that we're now, second in the bookmakers. We passed the conservative candidate. I don't think that's been done in history. And you've always been really supportive of me. And I just really appreciate that. It means a lot. You're always like giving me support behind the scenes and giving me support on social, and like all those little things matter. So thank you, man. I really appreciate that. It means a lot. And I know we're going to get you on the battle bus at some point as well
Yeah.
and drive around London, but I really appreciate it.
No, not at all. I mean, the thing for me as well, I think because we know each other off the camera, and I know you'll be going into this with so much passion and energy, and also having the goodness of the people behind you, which I think is so refreshing. And I think you can see from what you've done the last couple of months, going out, meeting people, getting on the streets, even during this COVID crisis, where it's been every single obstacle has been in your way to try and do what you've done. You've really gone beyond to try and help people, and to listen to people, and to actually give the people a voice. And I think that's not gone unnoticed. I think there's a lot of people who want to go with a fresh chat, want a fresh person involved that can really try and drive forward the voices of the people, and the freedom of speech. And especially the last 12 months, it's almost been, if you're not prepared to follow what's been told, then you're almost a villain. And I think that's what's been so refreshing about yourself. Obviously, the problems you've had on social media, being kicked off the platforms, and so on, for trying to give a voice. And I understand that sometimes voices can be given and opinions can be given that aren't correct. But just to be absolutely told there's one direction to go, and if you don't like it, you're tough. That for me, as an individual and as a man and an adult, it kind of makes me question why you're not allowed an opinion. And I love that about you. I love the fact that you are willing to listen and willing to debate, and willing to have people from all walks of life, no matter how rich, how poor, how successful, how unsuccessful, and allow everyone to have a voice. And I think that for London especially is so important, to have someone at the head of the whole community, not just a select few.
Yeah, that's so powerful you said that. And you kind of remind me sometimes of all the things that we've done over the years. I think it comes down to freedom, Martyn. I think it comes down to just having your personal freedoms. And last year we got into this big fight about freedom of speech, and people were trying to tell me, everybody from Ofcom, the regulator in the UK, to one of the biggest corporations in the world, Alphabet, that owns Google, that owns YouTube, basically saying that you can't put out these ideas. And again, when I spoke to people in the streets, people came up to me and they say, I don't agree with what that guest said. And I said, that's okay. I said, but do they have the right to say it? And they all said, of course they do. And I said, and do you have the right to listen to it if you choose? And they said, of course I do. And I said, well, there's people out there that think it's too dangerous for you to listen to, or you're not adult enough to make that choice. And almost everybody on the street, Martyn, would say, well, there's something wrong with that. And then we saw we didn't have the freedom to maybe, open up our businesses. We didn't have a freedom to make a living. And then in January, I didn't even have the freedom to be allowed to campaign. And I was literally stopped by 10 police officers who said, you're not allowed to campaign. And I was like, that doesn't sound like democracy. Something sounded wrong with all of this. And I think we take these human rights for granted sometimes, but sometimes you got to fight for them. And so I've been really lucky to do that, and had a ton of support, and a lot of people not supporting me too. It's been a great time of growth, to be honest. It's like being in the gym. When you're pushing up those heavy weights, you always grow, and that's what I feel like I've done in the last 2 years.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think for me, I mean, you see it on the news and you read it in the papers. Then when you go into the real world and you're around real people, the opinions are extremely different from what we've been told to do, and what we've been told to do, and how we should do it, and what the people are their views on the situation. And to me, a lot of people are saying and doing and expressing the same feelings. And it's a very strange time to be alive, and a very scary, I suppose, prospect of what's happened and why it's happened. And I'm not a massive one for conspiracy theories, but at the same time, I'm one who likes to question, question scenarios and situations. And I think that's something that we probably won't know for another 20, 30 years, to be honest.